Hello viewers, and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. Look, I totally remembered what I said I was going to do yesterday. It's time to go fight some fish dudes, get some hairpin. This is nice. We don't have to actually spend any money before going on this mission. We've been going through gold at an incredible rate, upgrading people for boss fighting and stuff. So it's nice to actually use those upgraded people, so I don't have to buy any skills or weapon upgrades. Can let our store of gold recover a little bit. Alright, so the Cove, we haven't done almost any Cove stuff in this Let's Play. It's still at a very low level. We're going to have to do a couple of Cove missions before the bosses are even going to be unlocked. Even the green level bosses. Am I forgetting anything here? Alright, none of you spoke up. So if it turns out I forgot something, it's now your fault. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty good today. Hopefully, recording Darkest Dungeon for the day will not destroy that feeling.
The smell of rotting fish is almost unbearable.
Yeah, as far as smells go, rotting fish is a pretty bad one. You know what, for once, Wayne and I agree on something. That does sound unbearable. Ah, crap. Okay. This is one of my least favorite groups of enemies. These guys are just... Let's lay out some stuns, not take every attack. Yeah, 12 damage non-critical. When these guys land crits, it really, really sucks. To try to prevent that guy from spearfishing. Alright. Remember, now that we're in the yellow dungeons, the enemy attacks have their full range of abilities, which means that spearfishing now pulls the target one space forward. Alright, what we do have in spades, though, is damage. Stuns and damage, so we should be able to... yeah, thin the herd a little bit, is what I was going to say there. No, it's too unlikely. You see down there 10 to 18? It's too unlikely that he'll get the kill. I think the right play is still a stun. My concern is that stunning one of these guys is probably also going to push him back. And I'd really prefer an in-place stun. Uppercut has a knockback 2 with a 110% chance. This lowers it by 25, but their move resist is only 30%, so it's pretty likely to still land. I would really love it if this guy did not move when he gets stunned. Ah, that's a shame. So the blue fishmen, when they're in the front two ranks, they can only use Seaward Slash, which only targets my front two ranks. And when they're in the back two ranks, they can only use Spearfishing, which only targets my back two ranks. So my concern there was that if both of them got to take their actions, both the guys in the front, and they both went after the bounty hunter, we'd end up in some pretty dire straits. But fortunately, things didn't work out that way. I want to heal him, but I also really don't want this thing to get another turn. By the way, still has hysterical blindness. I intentionally didn't heal this off of her because our other Vestal is in the sanitarium right now getting bad humors removed. And I wanted to have a Vestal to bring to this because I don't... I've said on a number of occasions that you do not need a dedicated healer, and I still believe that to be true. We're gonna go for the heal. But it's too risky in my opinion. On hard mode, where there is a there's a real penalty for death, being that you can actually lose the game. And it's too risky to come to a yellow cove with no healer. It is not, I think... Hold on a second. What do I want to do here? I think actually the best healing she can do is preventing an attack from happening on the next turn. Alright, so we'll finish him off. We'll lock this guy up. Okay. advantage of bonus damage versus stunned.
A faint hope blossoms.
I was really hoping the Arbalest would go next. I'm still gonna bandage. Yeah, I still don't think that a healer is necessary, and a fourth person doing real damage dealer level damage is potentially quite powerful. But I'm too nervous. I'm playing very defensively because I'm too nervous about losing the game from hero deaths. We haven't had very many so far, but we're also in what is by far the easiest part of the game. In particular, the Darkest Dungeon I found to be very prone to murdering my heroes, so I'd like to have very few accumulated deaths as we enter the Darkest Dungeon, so that we can afford to drop the ball once or twice. Because it is very unrealistic that we won't. Obviously, this guy with this buff cannot be allowed to have turns. He's gotta be a priority target. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Well, that sucked. What do you think here? What do I want to do? The Man-at-Arms can stun this guy, almost certainly. The question is, do I just want to contribute damage? Do I need to heal him? He's at 4. These guys are pretty fast. I think I do need to heal him. There's too much of a chance of him getting hit twice. The first hit taking him to death's door and the second hit killing him. So I think we're going to do this. And then... damn it. I was really hoping for one of those big, beautiful crits there. Ah, 11 points. Let's put him back at having to be hit twice, I think.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
At least he can only hit the back rows from where he is, and I'm not like super excited about him screwing up our party order, but I am super excited about the idea that he can't hit the bounty hunter. Alright, let's make sure this guy dies here. The Arbalest probably had it. Oh, no, she would not have had it without the judgment. That's a good thing we did that. We're taking a little bit of stress. It's actually not that bad. Moving one of them to the front early has really curtailed this. Although we are having some difficulty actually connecting with them. Alright. $17's okay, I guess. We do need to get enough deeds to start upgrading our... Or not deeds. Portraits. We do need to get enough portraits to start upgrading our blacksmith again. We're getting to the point where it would be nice to have some... some higher level weapons. We're gonna need to start fighting yellow bosses. So.
And driven into the mud. Alright, so my hope here is just that we get out with a net profit, right? I'm not, I'm a little concerned about our Arbalest. I gotta say, the Arbalest is great. Like, any class that has healing, any amount of healing, is just really great. This is... I think this is anti-venom, actually. I forgot about these. Right? It's not herbs. No, it's anti-venom. Save our herbs for fish corpses. Light? Damn it. Alright, well, she was going to the sanitarium anyway. It's not the end of the world.
But most of the time in Darkest Dungeon, all you're looking to do is get the most gold you can out of a mission. And you have to remember, when you're talking about most gold, I only have 2 shovels. I'm not going to go down this corridor to this empty room just in case there's a bunch of blockages down here. We're going to play it safe on the shovels. Yeah. That sure looks like a call and not just a big rock. Did you just crack that thing open with your hands? It's possible that I've been underestimating you, Derville. What's her chance? 80?
Spirits are lifted.
80's pretty good.
Is made clear.
Okay. That was maybe unwise. But you're always trying to make a net profit, right? Gold bottlenecks you if you're not careful. We haven't actually had that experience very much. Damn it. But
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
not to toot my own horn too much, I think I am pretty good about managing gold and making sure that we're making profit on missions and stuff. Who's the bigger threat? It's probably the Cutthroat, honestly. The Slice and Dice and Shank both do an awful lot of damage when they crit. She probably won't kill him on the hit. I think I'll take the stun off of the stun for the Fusilier's next turn instead. Oh, this could hurt. Oh, that wasn't that bad actually. And he'll be able to move forward again just by using Rampart. So.
Precision and power.
Wow, not bad. They introduced a little animation bug at some point recently. I don't know when exactly. But now attacks that move people, like their character teleports to the position and then the animation shows them moving. This feels like a little bit of a waste.
Decimated.
Shooting a guy who has 2 health with our Arbalist, but let's just make sure he's dead, shall we? She's at 110% stun resist. Yeah, we're not going to get that stun. But he's human, which means bonus damage from Collect Bounty. This stun is a little bit more likely to work. Still not likely enough. And you know, it's not like Man-at-Arms, it's not like a Man-at-Arms doesn't do damage, right? Come on, Vestal. You can do it.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade
Awesome.
the sharpened blade.
I probably mentioned it.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
I probably mentioned it at some point right after we found it. But playing with a friend, I discovered that these things can be... You can feed them dog biscuits. The dog treats that the Houndmaster carries in order to get a buff. I thought that was super weird. I guess it's a magic clam. It gives you a magic buff. We should have brought more bandages. That's right. That's what I was forgetting. These guys. Well, shit. For lack of a better word. What's my play here? Alright, she has a mark. Which mark does she have? It's the dodge reduction mark. It would be nice if we had a prot reduction mark. I don't... Does my bounty hunter even... He does. He should probably have that instead of come hither. That's a bit of an error. Also, his skills are only level 2. That's right. I forgot that a bunch of our people were upgraded to boss fighting before we had the guild upgraded enough. Well, we could stun him. Might work. I'm gonna try. Chance was not as high as I'd like. Oh, please don't let that work. Okay. That's a lot more likely. Okay. So honestly, I'm wondering if it's even... Maybe we should just take out the stinger real quick. I think that's probably worth doing. Ah. I think we can probably ignore the snail. But the stinger is going to be stunning people, and it's going to be a huge pain in the ass.
Dizzying blow to body and brain.
Although maybe it's just really terrible at its job. Also, maybe it's invincible. That might be the case. That could have happened. Why can't we hit this thing? Okay, finally. I'm a little disappointed that wasn't a crit. I would have loved to not have a corpse to deal with. I'm debating whether it's worthwhile. Yeah, let's land the mark. Oh, here we go. I did not have a high enough level Plague Doctor to bring on this mission either. That was definitely something I would have liked to have available. Nah, let's just hit him. We can't take advantage of the Bounty Hunter's mark bonus damage attack, sadly. Which is why I was hesitating about marking in the first place. But I think the combination of removing all of his dodge and giving the Arbalest bonus damage is a good enough reason to spend a turn marking. Alright. We might be able to get him down before he makes another attack. Maybe. His speed is only 1. Most of us are significantly faster than that, so... Ah. Why you guys have to leave him alive?
Their cursed champion falls.
Alright, well at least our man-at-arms is stalwart. Actually, I probably should have just healed there and let him attack. I don't think that he's dangerous enough to warrant the thing I did there. Not when I have so many people who are in desperate need of healing. We're gonna get dinged for stalling here, but I'm gonna accept it. Our stress level... Oh, we didn't. Remarkable. Our stress levels are not that bad, and we really, really needed a moment to heal.
This expedition at least promises success.
Okay, who has a quirk that needs to go away? These don't really matter. These don't matter. These are not great. Okay, congratulations. It's you. Alright, Hieromania. That's a fine quirk to get pulled off for free. One of the reasons that the Cove is great is that you run into those all the time, and if you rub some medicinal herbs on them, they remove a random negative quirk from your character.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Okay, this is a pretty easy battle. So, if you're thinking about... I've talked about this a bunch, but I haven't talked about it in a while, and if people don't want to dive through the archives of everything I've ever said, then they may not have heard it. So, health is important, but only insofar as it keeps somebody from dying. Okay? You don't get anything extra from finishing the mission at 100% health. So, with that in mind... it doesn't really matter how injured our heroes are as long as they don't die. You have all these points of health, but it turns out that only one of them actually matters. Sorry about that, it's my phone. I don't know if that picked up on the recording. So, given that the point of Darkest Dungeon is to prepare for the Darkest Dungeon, the things you're really looking for are heirlooms and money, basically, and trinkets. You need to get a good supply of trinkets going. But you need heirlooms to upgrade the buildings that let you buy weapons and armor, and then you need gold to buy the weapons and armor, and skill upgrades.
Slow and insidious killer.
Here. Drink this stuff. And... stack of gold over stack of busts, I think. So... yeah, she's really bleeding. Only one more tick, yeah. We should also camp at some point here. Ah, that's not what I was hoping for. Alright, I think we're going to do that fight and then camp afterward.
Another mariner, another misfortune. Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
So what was I saying? What you're really looking for is... we camp first? No, let's push onward for now. What you're really looking for is golden heirlooms. And heirlooms are pretty straightforward. You just find heirlooms and put them into your inventory.
For a task well performed.
Gold is a little bit more complicated because you don't just have the stuff that you gather coming in, you also have to be thinking about what's going out, how much are you paying for things. And so the way you squeeze the absolute maximum gold out of a place is not just... we're going to remove his support crew. He needs to die, but we also need to not be getting spearfished the whole time we're having a fight here. It's not just about gathering gold, it's also about removing expenditures. And one of the biggest expenditures, if you're not playing the game well, what you'll find is one of the biggest expenditures is de-stressing people. Very expensive. I forgot to put his marking skill on. Frustrating. One of the biggest expenditures, not that each individual instance of it is very expensive, but for the reason that you just have to do it a lot. One of the biggest expenditures is de-stressing people. So you can really help your net income, finally take advantage of this, Mark, by playing in a way that requires you not to de-stress people very often, or does not require you to distress people very often. And you actually have a lot of control over this. The game has a bit of a reputation for having a strong random element, and it does. Oh!
Reeling, about to break.
For example, all of these crits. Not really anything I can do about these. This is pretty much just the random number generator being needlessly cruel. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't want to move her because then just move the Arbalist up into this position where she can't do anything meaningful. And let's finish this guy off. Okay, arterial pinch, honestly, not the end of the world. At some point they introduced a tooltip bug, at some point recently. They should probably fix. He doesn't have enough health to be worth marking again. I think we can take him down quickly. So you're at 7 HP. Okay, that needed to land. Actually pretty important. Okay, well our vessel's in great danger now. Yeah. Alright, that's actually not bad. The dangerous thing...
Facing the abyss.
Too harsh. He's applied a lot of minus heals received. The dangerous thing would have been for her to get pushed to death's door by his attack, so it was nice of him not to do a thing that could deal enough impact damage.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Okay, we are in a bit of a position now. We'll fix this at camp. Alright, so we're going to let her bleed to 0.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness
she eats.
reveal themselves.
Then she bleeds to 0 again. Okay. And then she eats. Alright, and now we are going to, we're going to push over here, we're going to explore this room. We've actually finished the dungeon now. We don't have to do any more fights, we'll have enough rooms explored. So camp can be all about bringing people's stress levels down. In particular, we'll be using Sanctuary, and that'll help Derville quite a bit. But so you have a lot of control over the way things go down.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Even though it maybe doesn't feel like it sometimes. And I mean, you can see. I'm debating whether I wanna. I'm just gonna drop this for now. You can see that the game can't be entirely random by the outcomes. Some people are good at the game. I like to count myself among that number. I'm maybe not the best player on Earth, but you can see that some players achieve consistently significantly better outcomes than other players. And I don't... if you just go to the Steam forum for the game, you'll see. Somebody on the front page of the Steam discussion forums will be pitching a hissy fit about this game is too random, this game is broken, how's anybody supposed to be good at this? Do I want to throw away my torch? Yeah, we're not going to need it. I didn't want to use it. I don't actually want to bring the light level up. I would have... I honestly could have extinguished the torch back here somewhere.
Haunting the hearts of men.
Since I know that I have a couple of empty rooms with a couple of curios coming up. You touch this.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
I'm not going to interact with that without the herbs. Oh, we did get a scout. No secret room, sadly. Well, let's continue forth to the last curio. Ah, what a shame. Okay, and now we camp. We might be able to pull 1 or 2 people back from the brink of insanity here.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Oh, it only works on companions who have mortality debuffs. It doesn't affect her own stress and health. You know, I honestly don't think I've had that come up before. Okay, so what do we have? We actually do not have a lot of tools for lowering stress. So she's at 57. We could lower her thing by 30 to 27. I think we will. And then we don't have any skills that are relevant after that, I think. Since we're just leaving the dungeon immediately. So, yeah.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Alright, that is okay work, guys.
We will find all manner of great and terrible things in this watery tomb.
We did bring back a lot of heirlooms, which is pretty great. We don't need to see the... Alright, and rabies for our bounty hunter. I'm actually pretty happy about that.
You will know the tragic extent of my failings.
I think this is probably worth spending some busts on. It would be really cool if both of those got pulled off of her. So that went okay. What I was saying. Some diseases have to be removed. Some negative quirks, it's important to remove. Not very many, but, you know, you can figure out which ones through common sense. Anything that would be devastating to your playstyle, anything that's going to cause your people to take so much stress that they have to be de-stressed repeatedly. So things like things that consistently give like plus 20% stress damage are it's not even necessarily that they're dangerous to the outcome of missions, although they can be, right? Having somebody break early in a mission is a recipe for disaster. But it's more about that quirk pushing people over the threshold where you'd have to pay to de-stress them after the mission. How many times does that have to happen for the amount of gold you spend on extra de-stresses to be more than the amount of gold that it would take to just remove the quirk? The answer is not very many. The answer is probably one. But, you know, this stuff is kind of murky. It's hard to tell. If I let this quirk stay on, how much gold is it going to cost me in the long run? There's no way to know that ahead of time. Let's see here. What do we got available? We have an orange available, but it's no good. We have another orange available, and it is good. Okay, well. I think we've found our next mission. We can do this. We can do this in this video, right? You got vertigo? I don't care about that. Let's bring a Houndmaster, and we should get an occultist up above level 2, so we can bring an occultist to stuff if we want. And let's get a plague doctor leveled up as well. Who do I want to have access to their third rank ability? Probably the plague doctor. Yeah. We'll just roll this way for you. Who else needs to come? We do need to get our antiquarian up, I guess, at some point, probably. I don't care a huge amount about that, but you are diseased. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Hey, we're actually going to level up Hound's Harry. For this, Hound's Harry is pretty powerful against this boss. Let's just level up all the stuff on him that we like to use, and I'll figure out exactly what we're bringing in a moment here. Everybody else does have their stuff upgraded, right? Yeah, these are all people who came up after we got the guild upgraded. Okay, so let's tech out for a boss fight. Number 1, we're going to want some kind of stunning trinket on the Houndmaster. He has a job, he's good at it. We have this very good stun trinket available to us. You can probably be the person who carries the scouting book as well. We don't really need a damage up on him. I often bring a damage up for shanking people. Maybe he carries the book, actually. Let's do that. He can have the book. You can take Feather Crystal for speed and dodge, because it's good to have his speed up. And we'll do this for our leper. We really do need to get a hold of some good accuracy trinkets. Lepers in particular benefit from extra accuracy. I don't want to slow down a Houndmaster. I want to have good speed for making sure that we can get the stuns delivered early enough. I guess we'll just give him Dismas' head. And you need something. I don't know. This. Don't freak out on us. Okay, this party is, I think, pretty powerful for fighting this boss in particular. We have a lot of AoE that does more damage than single target attacks. For example, Hugh does 60% of your damage twice to the boss, so potentially 120%. And things like that. We can apply a ton of bleeds with Hound's Harry. We have Plague Grenade to apply double blights. We have Abyssal Artillery. I wasn't really thinking about doing extra damage to the boss. I just kind of put together a party that made sense to me, composition, like general composition-wise, but it turns out that we should be quite good here. I did include the Houndmaster for his ability to do the thing that he does, because the thing that he does is great. We'll take some bandages. This feels like a lot of stuff. We're over-preparing. We're going to throw some of this out.
My zeal for blood rituals and summoning rites had begun to ebb, as each attempt invariably brought only failure and disappointment. Progress was halting, and the rapidly accumulating surplus of wasted flesh had become burdensome.
Yeah, so this is a perfectly reasonable thing to do with it.
An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
Alright, so, what are we doing here? Nothing terribly special. Let's go make murder happen. So we'll go this way. Extra battles, but there's one more battle this way, but there's also 2 more curios this way. We have access to buffs, but not a lot of buffs. Aw.
Annihilated.
So I'm not terribly concerned about camping for buffs. Oh, I was not thinking. I should have left this one alive to hit with the tentacles. Now, our poor occultist can hardly contribute to combat at all. Not that he needs to, necessarily.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
I don't really understand this. Do we pour the holy water out over the weird pile of bones? Or, like, what exactly does it mean to use the holy water there? You guys just take it easy. Think about what you did for a turn.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Yeah, lepers are okay, I guess. So the leper has a similar average damage per attack to the other frontliners. The thing that makes the leper's deal a little unusual is that he's balanced.
As the enemy crumbles.
He's balanced to have lower accuracy in exchange for higher damage on hit,
A faint hope blossoms.
and over an infinite number of attacks, that works out to be reasonably similar math. So Stress Eater's not great. The Yips is pretty bad. Stress Eater's not great, but if we do this with the Plague Doctor, there's a chance we'll lose like Sickly or Mercurial instead, which doesn't matter. Both of these are not good, so let's have you purify this altar. Okay, we got rid of the Yips. That's fantastic. That was locked in. It was going to be fairly expensive to remove, so I'm very happy about that. So provisioning is another area where you can bleed gold if you're not careful. It's not a lot of gold. You're never going to find, oh my god, I'm shedding thousands and thousands of gold from provisions, unless you're going completely insane and buying stuff that there's no reason to buy. But it does matter. Every little bit matters. So it's important to pay attention to how much you're paying for supplies, pay attention for how much you're paying to
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
how much you're paying to de-stress and stuff. This leper is hilarious. He does a hilarious amount of damage. Alright, awesome. I mean, I guess we don't have anything else to do. He could have self-healed, I suppose.
Maintain the offensive.
Ooh, another quirk removal opportunity. Let's remove Calm. The first round is when we most want to be doing damage. But your big sources of gold output are de-stressing people and removing quirks. You end up removing diseases a lot, but each individual disease removal is pretty cheap. And the other thing is, mostly you can't afford to not remove them. A lot of the diseases are pretty bad. There's stuff like vertigo that doesn't matter, but you have a lot of diseases that lower your max HP and your accuracy, or your damage and your accuracy, or, you know, there's a lot of stuff that is certainly worth removing. But the places where people are consistently spending too much money, the thing that makes people feel like the game is too hard, is they're de-stressing too much because they are not taking care of their people in missions. And they're spending too much on negative trait removal because for some reason people think that like any negative trait is the end of the world. You see this on, like I said, on the Steam forums, and even on the subreddit, people complaining that it's impossible to have any money left over after anything, and part of the reason for that,
cleansed from our lands.
Part of the reason for that is that they're keeping their, sanitarium cycling 24/7. Just gotta remove quirks, gotta remove quirks. You don't. Most of them don't matter. Portraits. Why must you stack in such small groups? I don't know that I actually want to drop anything else right now, and I'd rather have the start of another stack of portraits than another stack of crests, especially considering that we have like 100 crests just sitting back home. Alright, well, let's go get the boss, and then we'll come back around and do more treasure.
These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
That's another thing. Making sure you get as much treasure as you can possibly get out of each dungeon is really important. It's really important to have scouting on mediums and longs so that you have a chance of finding the secret room if one exists. Oh. Well, it's got to be the leper, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to see some serious shit. I'm not gonna mark anybody, let's be honest. Yeah, I think everybody's outfitted with the appropriate things. Let's go get them. People who watch the normal mode Let's Play will probably remember that I had a tremendous amount of difficulty with the hard mode version of this guy. I like legitimately almost lost that fight. Both missed. So people who are unfamiliar, this boss has 4 portions, but he has only 1 health bar. He actually goes down pretty quickly. He does not have enough health, in my opinion, at the lower ranks. The red version of the fight is pretty challenging. But they all have remarkably low bleed resist. This would be a fine time for a dog treat as well, I suppose. Alright, we got some reasonable impact damage there. So 5 to 11 plus 11 to 22. I think we're just going to do a single hit. This part has 50% prot, so we're going to do a single target attack. I really want to see a big crit. Get these 70% prot sections up front now. So each part of the beast transforms every turn, or has a chance to transform every turn. There are 4 different forms. There's this intestine bit that just heals people and has 0% prot. There's these things that have 70% prot, and they do an attack called Bone Zephyr that stuns. These things have 30% prot, and they blight people. And then the pig face part has 30% or 50% prot, and it inflicts a bleed. Not a very good bleed. You know what? We'll just single target. Okay, that sucks. That also kind of sucks, although he was not going to contribute a tremendous amount of damage this round due to his only attackable targets being at such high prot. Also, this thing is pretty fast. The intestine parts have 10 speed and the Bone Zephyr parts have 8. So you don't always get quite what you were hoping for in terms of turn order. Yeah.
As grotesque in death as it was in life.
I don't know, drink this, whatever. Okay, pretty straightforward. So, it's important to wring as much money out of each dungeon as you possibly can. Also, for some reason, when I walked up here, I didn't just poke my head out and grab that curio, and I feel dumb. That is something I very obviously should have done. Yep. So, should I make camp before I get into any fights? Certainly a consideration. Fitzroy might be able to very quickly heal himself up. He also might 0-point heal himself a couple times in a row. And the whole party's at like 0 stress. Now I think we'll just have him eat. Nobody in this party is great with traps. Actually, never mind. That's right. Houndmasters are good at literally everything. I always forget.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I don't like buffs better than the stuff that's in my inventory. Now let's have the candle active during this fight. So we're actually doing really well, stress-wise, obviously. Yeah. Screw this thing.
Decimated.
We're obviously doing really well stress-wise. We have an okay amount of gold. We still have a lot of supplies, which means that our inventory is more full than valuable. It's not the end of the world. So he's not that likely to get the kill with a Hue. He's very likely to get the kill with a single target hit. But I decided to be greedy. Again, the pig drummer is probably the one of the weakest enemies in the game. You can see there that attack only inflicted 11 stress, so he's not very good as a stress caster. Who wants the next heal? We still have a lot of healing to do. You know what? Let's just make sure he survives. These guys are just a total non-threat. time. Alright, here we go, finally. He's gonna die at the beginning of his turn. We're just gonna watch in the hopes that our occultist will roll really high on the speed roll. Ooh, okay, so this is two kinds of loot that we don't have yet in our inventory. We're probably not gonna need that. Is it worth tossing something for... Jade is not very valuable. Even a full stack of jade is only worth 1,000 gold. I think we'll go ahead and make room. But I don't feel great about this, because if we wanted to do an 8-food camp, we would now be pretty constrained about when we could do that. You know, I'll just have him do it to prevent potential accumulation of stress on other people. We only have one torch left. Do I want to use it? Oh, no, wait. We've already burned that. That's right. Those are burned. They just don't look any different. We've been through this hallway. There's no curio marking on the map. Most of the curios have a "you've interacted with this" graphic. The scrolls probably ought to have a burned graphic. Even just remove them from the hall would be fine.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
We don't really need to use the big de-stress feast option. So, preventing nighttime ambushes is important. This is a good buff. We can therapy dog to give everybody a stress damage reduction buff. I think we'll do that. Does anybody have a disease they'd like removed? Nobody has one that really matters. So we could just self-medicate. Oh, that's right. The cure only affects the plague doctor herself anyway. Yeah, we'll just self-medicate. Pull down her stress, shore up her health a little bit. Okay.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Mostly what I want to do is get over to this side of the map so that we can get scouts on these hallways. I'm still looking for that secret room.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
That's also the reason I'm keeping the light up, looking for that scout. Okay, that's handled. I suppose I didn't need to go so hard on that, because... Or maybe I did. It is, of course, the case that the
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
the occultist is a tiny bit unreliable. Just a little bit. Honestly, I think we're just gonna let this guy run his clock out.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Oh, not bad, everybody. So let's throw some heals. It's very unlikely that we're going to get another occultist turn before that guy takes his turn, but it's not impossible. Yeah,
Slow
what a bummer.
death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Okay, so we now have a full scout. We've scouted every square in the dungeon. And we just don't get a secret room. That's a bummer. Oh well, we'll live.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Alright, so we're going to head up. We're going to poke out, get this curio, and then we're going to come back down around. Even fights that don't have curios still have loot. You still get something, so... Oh, I walked one step too far forward.
By foul invention.
It's like I love stress or something. We do not have holy water anymore.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
But it turned out okay, you know?
Or in blood.
The next time that we need to drop something, we'll drop the shovels, since we now know that we do not need shovels anymore.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
I wonder if I should douse my torch before that last fight. You know what? We're totally going to do that. Because I actually would really like to fight a shambler. Alright, well, that could have been a lot worse. This party will still be reasonably effective while slid around. Because we can still do this. We can still do this. And even from up here, we still have access to the incision.
A singular strike.
It's true, petals must fall. Ooh.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
This is not the best trinket ever. But it is a blue, and therefore it will sell. Plus 100% food consumed is a dangerous property for things to have. Well, if we're gonna snuff our torch for that fight anyway, we may as well snuff it now. Aha! Remember that different members of your party have different resistances. You can avoid some negative effects from things by making sure that the person with the high relevant resist is interacting with the curio. Alright. Shambler? Still don't have my map yet. Oh, just spiders. Alright. Each of them gets one turn at most. Nope, never mind.
Executed with impunity.
Wow.
A trifling victory.
So we're not gonna need... I wish I had some idea what this curio was. Well, I think we're gonna discard all the supplies. Oh, I have a stack of 2 food. That was not ideal, the way I did that.
If only treasure
Okay.
could staunch the flow.
Not terrible.
Otherworldly corruption.
I do not enjoy that sound. Each of the regions has its own low sanity sound, and the one in the Warrens is by far my least favorite. did a really good job on producing a maddening, really upsetting
The
sound.
degeneracy of the hamlet is nothing, I fear, when compared to the condition of surrounding acres.
All right, well, I'm pretty happy about our progress. Where are we? Actually, I should leave this. Week 24. Oh, trying to close that with escape. And we're pushing along just fine. So, if you enjoyed this episode, you know, like or subscribe or, I don't know, tell your friends. Put up a big sign in your yard with a URL. Come back next time. We're going to keep doing stuff. This is such a sad trinket. We're going to keep doing stuff. We're going to keep doing yellows. We're going to keep slowly expanding the, slowly expanding our reach, finding more and more bosses. Ugh. What a terrible, terrible waste of a trinket. Alright, I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be cool. We're going to kill some monsters, some people will go mad, blood will be everywhere, it'll be great, don't miss it. We'll see you then.